So today I'm gonna work on this bench. Usually what we'll do, you can see big grinder in the back. So I'll use this clamp to clamp down lawnmower blades and then use that grinder to polish them or sharpen them. I'm gonna do some modifications. This leg actually broke today. And then we've also got this polisher stone and then a wire wheel. But it's pretty hard to use because we drag it outside the shop onto this gravel, but it's quite a pain. So got some old lawnmower wheels from the lawnmower decks and got this dowel. So I'm gonna polish up the dowel and then these wheels slide on real nice. And what my plan is to put it on the outside here. So something like that. So the plan is to do it like that, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna stick the wheels inside yet or have them sticking out a little bit. If I have them sticking out a little bit, it might be a bit of a tripping hazard, but at the same time, it would work more like a wheelbarrow. And if I had them inside the leg, then the wheels would have to be permanently on the ground, and that could make it a little bit tippy. So I think I'll probably go for this outside position. So have the wheels something like that, and it should work pretty well. Just be able to weld right to the edges here once I cut the bar and polish it. And then whenever I pick it up, the two wheels will touch instead of that, and then I can just pick up the back side or the opposite side of the bench. So that's the plan. Should be pretty simple. And then while I'm at it with the welder, I'm gonna fix that leg. So that's the project for today. The mock-up, so I'll be able to weld here and here, maybe a little bit on the side, same on this side, to weld all the way around there. And then the wheel will be limited by the leg, and then I might weld a washer or two onto either side just to keep the wheel from moving. And I'm not too concerned about having to make these reusable or replaceable, I mean. So I'm not too worried about welding the whole thing together. If we need to ever replace it, just take off the welds. It'll take a little time, but these wheels are solid. They should do the trick. I like these wheels for the reason that they're pretty much plastic. So there won't be any issue if like sparks hit it might melt. But it's better than something like this, because I did think of just using one big wheel, and I thought maybe the sparks would melt the rubber. So decided to go against that and use these tractor mower deck wheels. Drew a line on either side of the dowel just to know, and then I also drew a line there just to know where I can weld. Decided to space it up just this thickness, and then I use a clamp just to hold it on that side. Here will never touch the ground, but I think that's okay because these wheels should be sturdy enough once I weld it all together. So I drew these lines so that I can take the clamps off and the wooden spacers and just weld it separately, and then probably gonna put like I said, a washer here, and then also just a weld, and then maybe the same on the inside so that it doesn't rub up against that leg. Should be pretty simple. The welder out now. Just about to go fix this first leg, and I'm gonna come in with the grinder. I was trying to use some clamps, but it wasn't pulling in enough and there's nothing to hold on to. So grabbed a ratchet strap, come to the other corner, and you can just see it sucks it right together. So that's exactly what I want. So that's pretty tight there. And right there, looking good too. So I'll give it one more pull. There we go. So that's nice and tight now. Come in with the grinder so I can lay a nice bead. So I checked out the settings here, drew a little arrow for what I'm using, and so I come across and it's between 1/8 and 3/16. So those are the settings I'm gonna use. So I shut this, come up the front, I've got my settings on there. This is the last one, so 10, 15, and 200. Got my welding mask. There's the torch, and then I ground a nice little spot there through the paint for the ground clamp. And did some grinding on that. And on the side there, it's not going to be pretty, but it'll do. Gonna dip the torch in that. Pretty much get started. Also, those are all empty jerry cans. So if you're near any gas, you definitely want to move away from that. Give these a quick shot with the grinder. So I'm gonna grab the wheels and weld it on. Line on the end here so I can sort of just line it up. It doesn't have to be exact, just a rough measurement. So that's that, and then I've got a washer and then a wheel and then a washer that I'll be able to weld on when it's in the spot. But I need these all towards the center while I'm welding. My setup, clamped it here so that I can weld here, and the line's still lined up. Got my ground clamp, and then these are all to one side so it won't catch them on fire. Did some grinding there, and then the other side on. So left and right side on top and bottom for both sides. So now I'm just gonna tip it up, make sure it works the way I want it to. And if it doesn't, I can always just zap off the tack welds with the grinder, but it should work great, and then I'll just finish up the weld. I just did that final test for these tack welds. Works great. So then I'm gonna go back, finish welding here, maybe a little bit on the ends. But that's basically it. And then I can't decide. I'm definitely gonna weld here just so that the washer's held there, and then the wheel can move a little bit and it still has to rotate, but I don't want it to come to the middle because then it'll be a little tippy. But I can't decide if I want to weld this washer just as support there, or if I can just, I think I'll just probably leave it like that, no weld. So I guess it's back to welding. Came over here to this weld. I'm really pleased with that. I stuck more to the dowel, and the dowel is thicker, so you need more heat on the dowel instead of on the leg of the table. So putting more heat and concentrating it onto the dowel made a lot better of a weld. Doing this, did one on the left and then one on the right, just so that I don't heat it up too much and warp the metal. So now I'm going to come back to the left side and then go back to the right side for the final weld. All finished. The welds aren't the best. This one was the best one, definitely because the surface was prepared the best with just the grinder. This one I didn't have ground down as well, so just lessons to learn for next time. Final product. So washers are loose on the outside, and then on this one wheel I left this washer loose and just did a bead around the whole wheel, so like that locks it in place and it's locked in place there. Whereas with this one, You can see it's crooked, but I actually welded it on. So I wanted to do this just to try it out, see which one works best. Both of them work decently. Once again, I ground it down, but I still could have spent more time grinding to make these prettier welds. But anyways, that one's stuck on. You can see that's why it's crooked, because I didn't weld on opposite sides. And then this one, I was gonna go with it, but then instead I just decided to weld right around the dowel. So that's it. That's the end of the project. That's the back side of the leg that I fixed. These are the two sides of the leg that I fixed. Not the prettiest welds, but it works. So that'll be nice and solid now. And then I'm gonna just go give it a bit of a test drive, you could call it.